It's a great honor for us to accept this award because it's just a testament to how far collectively we've gone in breaking the stigma surrounding mental health in our community. Because we believe that before you can educate a child properly, you have to make sure that they're healthy. Healthy physically, and even more importantly, healthy emotionally. And I can attest to that firsthand. And just from our short visit to Lamplighters, I can see that that was Lamplighters' mission, part of Lamplighters' mission as well. As you know, I grew up and still suffer from OCD. And part of OCD is you have a tremendous amount of anxiety, but real anxiety. Not just the anxiety that people love to fetch about. Legitimate anxiety that's debilitating. Anxiety that feels like fear in the back of your head and tightens up your muscles in your neck and goes right down into your spine on a daily basis. The type of fear that you would feel like right before you take the biggest test of your life. Or the type of fear that you would feel when you're in deep trouble. But we feel it on a daily basis. The type of fear that feels like nausea in your throat and indigestion in your chest. And yes, the type of fear that you feel the need to go to the bathroom really badly, but there's no bathroom in sight. That did happen to me. I wet my pants once standing in front of the entire elementary school because I had to lead davening on my birthday. So growing up with this type of anxiety as a child, you kind of have mixed feelings about it. On the one hand, you don't want anyone to know because you don't want to be different. You don't want to look weird. You don't want to feel stupid. So you isolate yourself. You don't want anybody ever to find out, so you try to hide it as much as possible. But on the other hand, you want everybody to know about it because at least it'll be done. Maybe you can get help. When I was about 12 years old, in 7th grade, the Rebbe asked me where we were holding, what the place was, and I didn't know. So he gave me an X. Now for most people, for most children, that's not a problem. It's just standard procedure. You don't know, you get an X. Next time you'll make sure you know. But for me, as a child, I was dealing with so much anxiety. I had so much on my plate that I just couldn't handle that X. So I excused myself to go to the bathroom, and I walked to the hallway, and I went into the corner, and I curled up into a ball, and I just started crying. And I cried for like 2 hours straight. I bawled my eyes out. During recess, my friends came over to me, and they all asked me the same question. They said, "Why are you crying?" But I didn't know why I was crying, so I just ignored them. Eventually, my teacher, Rabbi Katz, came over to me, and he asked me the same question. "Why are you crying? Is it the X? No. Is it something I said? No. Is it something somebody else said? No." And then he stopped, and he looked at me, and he said, "Is everything okay?" And it just caught me off guard because I was waiting all my life for somebody to ask me that question. And here it was. But I had built up this huge wall around me to protect myself. I didn't want to be vulnerable. I had this moat. I wasn't allowing anybody in. So I said, "Yes, everything's okay." And he's like, "Is everything okay?" And I said, "Yes," again. But deep down, I was hoping that he would keep asking because I knew that eventually I would break. I knew eventually I would crack and I would tell him, "No, not everything's okay." And then somebody would find out about it and maybe get me the help that I need. And that was the only time in my entire school career that somebody ever asked me if everything was okay. From 1st grade until after smicha, that's the only time I ever remember somebody asking me if everything was okay. My brother had this camper. His name was Shaul. He was a big troublemaker, but the good kind of troublemaker, the kind that you really enjoy. So he would kind of walk over to kid and knock the can out of his hand as he's holding it. That wasn't the enjoyable part. It was his answer after you asked him. You would always ask him, "Shaul, why'd you do that?" And he always had the same answer and he was frustrated that you were even asking the question. He always answered, "On purpose." And he didn't get why you're asking the question. And I'll tell you why I think that's awesome. Because most people in the world that reach some level of success have to go through 3 stages before they can get to the purpose. First, people love collecting things. You have a nice watch, a nice car, some art, because that makes them feel good. Once they collect a lot of things, they start realizing that they need something deeper. They're looking for some meaning. So they start collecting experiences. They go to fancy restaurants, expensive vacations, learn new languages, meet new people, learn new cultures. And eventually that gets tiring too. And that's usually when the people find the purpose in their life. That's when they find religion. That's when they join charities. And as Lubavitchers, I feel like we're privileged. We're privileged to have that purpose, that intention, that kivun in our life from the get-go. We were born with Chassidus. We were born with the Rebbe. We have that purpose. But together with that privilege, I believe also comes a huge responsibility. The Rebbe didn't want us just to live with the purpose. The Rebbe didn't want us to just live passively. He wanted us to live on purpose, just like Shaul did. He wanted us to live on purpose, proactively bringing Mashiach, proactively finding out if somebody's okay physically, proactively finding out if somebody's okay emotionally. And I believe that's my message here tonight. If you're a teacher or a parent, don't just teach or parent with purpose. Teach on purpose. Parent on purpose. Educate yourself with what the early signs of mental health disorders are. Don't wait for the child to come to you. Approach that child. You may be that only child's lifeline. You may be the only one to ever ask that child, is everything okay? Create the environment that allows a child to feel like they can come over to you and tell you when they're going through something. If you're in a group of friends and somebody says, oh, I'm so OCD or hey, I'm so dyslexic because they counted something wrong, don't chuckle at that. Because I guarantee you there's somebody else in that group, in that circle that really is OCD, that's dealing with real anxiety because of it. There's somebody that's really dyslexic. And by you chuckling, you may have pushed off them getting help for themselves by a month, by a year, by 2 years, or maybe a lifetime. I'll just give you a little example. When my video came out, I put it on a bunch of WhatsApp groups. So let's say the average WhatsApp group has 30 people. About 5 or 6, I got a lot of only positive feedback. Let's say an average WhatsApp group has 30 people, so 5 or 6 of them reached out publicly and said, wow, amazing, kudos, so brave. But from the same WhatsApp group, 15 people reached out to me privately. Why are we so embarrassed to support publicly when somebody else is going through a mental health challenge? We're so afraid that if somebody sees us supporting, they're going to see right through our challenges. But I'm here to tell you that the person that you're embarrassed of, that you're afraid of, they also reached out to me. They're also going through a challenge. It's time we start taking down those walls and start collaborating and helping each other. Thank you. And if you're a student or a child going through a challenge, or even an adult, don't just live with the purpose. Live on purpose. Live as if you chose that challenge to be your purpose in life. Because Hashem chose that for you, and you're the only person that He chose. He needs you to do that. He doesn't just want you to live with the purpose, He wants you to transform the purpose. And He wants you to help yourself and help others with it. Don't worry about the stigma. Don't worry about what the masses say. I was once standing next to Alan Weingrad. He was a former NFL player. Somebody asked him, which team do you root for? And he said something so profound. He said, I don't root for teams. I'm not a fan. I'm a player. Be that player. Be a leader. I've been so blessed in my life to take the OCD and turn it into COD. I've been able to take the challenges and use it and apply it to my benefit. And I hope you do too. Thank you. L'chaim. Wow. Thank you.